Hey guys, welcome to Lake Stevens Auto Detailing. I hope you're having a blessed day. Today we've got a real interesting detail to do. It's a Volkswagen Golf Sport Wagon, and it's got a lot of debris and dirt and stuff. Hasn't really been kept up on the clean, but the interesting part is the passenger front seat, which we'll show you in a little bit. For now, we're just doing a little walkthrough here. You can see how dirty it is. There's some staining in the driver's seat, but that's just from the pink cushion that she's got kind of rubbed off and stained things. Uh, Passenger seat, the lady was given a family member a ride to a doctor appointment and had a catheter bag explode in the seat, and it made a big ol' mess. So we'll show you that here in just a little bit. And that's kind of the main focus of the detail. Obviously, we're going to get the rest of it cleaned up. It does desperately need a good interior detail, but the passenger seat was our main concern. Mainly just the odor and the staining and just everything. Obviously, you don't want your car smell like pee. So we're going to get this thing cleaned up. You can kind of see it spilled down the plastic trim. It's tucked into that corner. So we're going to recline that seat back as far as it goes so we can get maximum biohazard pee staining out of the way and get this thing cleaned up the best we can for this lady. She's a nice old lady, probably 70 or so years old, and she just is way beyond her skill set and ability for her age and everything like that. So starting out, we're just gonna get everything vacuumed up as much as we can and go from there. We'll get with shampoo and extracting those seats relatively soon so those seats can dry up. And but for now, we'll get this thing vacuumed up, get everything taken care of. And there is a nice little surprise in the spare tire well, which we'll see here in a little bit. She had a trunk mat in that little trunk cargo area, but the only lame thing is on that one, it's got really kind of thick fibers, kind of intertangled, so it made it pretty hard to get all that debris and stuff out. Actually, underneath in this little carpeted area was a lot easier to get that stuff up. Probably mainly because it hadn't been ground in like the other one, but yeah, when I was trying to get the edges cleaned up along here, I noticed some other stuff in the spare tire well, which we'll address and see here. It's kind of not really part of the detail, but I couldn't just leave that in her car. It's probably causing a little bit of odor, and it's just not sanitary to leave that mouse nest in there. I didn't really see any droppings, so I just kind of vacuumed up what I could without pulling the spare tire out and unscrewing it and everything. Just doing it as a little extra bonus for her, and just trying to look out for her health as well. So don't want her breathing mouse nest and mouse waste if there's anything in like that in the nest and stuff. So if that's contributing to any of the smell, we're just going to try to do the maximum amount we can to keep everything cleaned up for her so she doesn't have a stinky car anymore. So I think she'll be pretty happy once we get done. These little pockets were a bit of a pain because the width was just not conducive to being able to turn the vacuum hose around and get it real clean. And the back of the seats weren't too bad. There's pine needles and debris and stuff. Thankfully, she didn't have any dogs or anything, so there wasn't really any pet hair or anything. Just some human hair and pine needles and stuff. Sometimes those pine needles are a real bear to get out because they kind of intertwine and get smushed into the fibers and stuff, but we got it pretty clean without too much hassle. So next we'll be tackling the back seats, getting those all cleaned up. Thankfully there's not really any stains on there, so we're just gonna give them a real good vacuum, and we'll start working on the floor here. Vacuum the rear seat floor area, sorry. It's always interesting to see what's kind of hiding or lurking underneath in between the seat tracks and the center console, or what's just fallen in between the front passenger seat that's kind of buried under there and forgotten. I see a lot of water bottles, receipts, sometimes some dollar bills and things like that, which I'll just put in their center console. And other times there's just trash and tissues and stuff like that, which is why I usually wear gloves when I'm doing interior cleaning and stuff, because you never know what you're going to pull out. You don't know what kind of, if there's anything that's got people's bodily fluids or just something that's got a bunch of germs and things. So just want to keep myself protected while I'm doing the details, and I'm getting everything cleaned up for them as well. I don't really charge for trash cleanup. It's kind of part of the detail, in my opinion. Now, if there's like tons and tons of it, then it might be a different story, but I think that would be kind of included in the detail quote when I first look at the vehicle. So, yeah, this thing had a lot of debris, hair, dust, dirt, pine cones. I think they live in an area where there's a lot of trees and stuff, so they track in a fair amount into the car, and just the fact that it's been quite a long time since it's been thoroughly cleaned, there's just a large accumulation in the car. So we'll get this cleaned up, and this lady will be real happy when we're all done getting it detailed up for her. Front passenger all-weather floor mat had so much junk and rocks and stuff in there. I usually yank the floor mats out and then I'll pressure wash them clean. But this thing had so much crud on there, I just didn't want to litter the driveway with all that garbage. There's enough accumulating as is without helping, so just took 10 seconds to vacuum floor mats, and that just keeps down on the clutter, plus dropping it when I'm pulling the mat out of the car. And you can see this car really does need quite a bit of love, and so we're going to get this thing vacuumed up, but there's tons of debris even underneath the floor mat, so I'm sure this car hasn't been thoroughly cleaned in quite a few years. And you can kind of see down the front passenger seat, that front edge where you have your legs resting. There is a nice little pee dribbling down, and it kind of hit down and just left of the outboard track, closest to the door. There's a little bit of a yellow puddling there. So we got our work cut out for us when we're doing the shampoo and extracting. But that's what we're hired to do, and we'll get this thing cleaned up. So, question for you guys: do you guys like regularly detailing your cars, or at least vacuuming and washing them? Do you like doing it, trying to do it every 1 to 2 weeks, or do you just hit it hard and do it once every 3 to 6 months when it really needs it and is quite dirty? I'm just kind of interested in what you prefer. Weather providing, what you usually like to do for keeping your cars cleaned up or maintained. Let me know in the comments below. I love my DeWalt 20 volt cordless impact driver. It works really good paired with the soft white cone brush, and that just helps get a lot of the debris that's kind of stuck in there. And plus it's cordless, so I don't need to worry about cords. I can run the shop vac and the cordless drill at the same time, which is definitely a benefit if I'm using the Tornador. And the vacuum, I can't do that on a 15 amp breaker, it's too much. The shop vac pulls about 10 amps, and I have a small Boss Stitch 6-gallon air compressor, and I think that takes around another 10 amps, so it can't be used at the same time. So I like to use my drill brush. It's fast, easy, maneuverable, and it's got the cone head on there, so if I just rub up around the plastics, it won't damage things. And so just the versatility of being able to get in some of the tighter corners is helpful for getting a lot of that debris that's kind of stuck in there, close to the seat tracks and around the floor mat periphery. Once I pull the floor mat out, it's just a lifesaver. This driver's floor mat's just caked with rocks and pine needles and things being tracked in. So we'll have our work cut out for us, getting everything underneath the floor mat and around the perimeter of the floor mat clean, because it tends to grind into the carpet and makes it a bit of a pain to get cleaned out. But that's just part of the gig, being a detailer and having the tools needed to be able to properly clean the car and get it as clean as customers expecting and up to par, and depending on what kind of detailing package or conversation you have with them on how clean the car is going to get. So if you guys are enjoying this detail so far, please be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any future details, and help support my channel in that free, easy way. I really do appreciate that. This vehicle really was quite messy. I ended up having to blow all the crevices out with the torn door, because there were some areas where the drill brush couldn't get to and the vacuum couldn't get to. So just trying to get everything blown out as thoroughly as possible to get all that embedded debris and areas alongside of the center console to the seat track area where you can't really get a whole lot of tools in there. This tornador is fairly versatile and doesn't take a lot of space, so you can kind of get it into some of those nooks and crannies, blow it out to an area where you can vacuum. It doesn't make a mess, so I do like to pre-vacuum just so I'm not breathing as much crud and junk blowing around. I know there's still going to be dust flying around and stuff like that, but if you don't pre-vacuum and you use the tornador, I feel like it just makes a huge mess. So getting that pre-vacuum out of the way, and then using the drill brush and vacuum again, and then using the tornador just to blow out the last little bits. Really cuts out what you're breathing in, especially if you're not wearing some sort of particulate mask or dust mask to protect your lungs. And of course, I would like to have the trunk and all four doors open when I'm blowing, just so anything that's kind of blowing around with the tornador either settles down on the carpet or it just blows outside and it's left you're breathing in. My pressure washer setup, so I just use the garden hose to kind of pre-spray some of the junk off, and then I use Turtle Wax's all-surface cleaner, and then the cone brush to really agitate in those grooves where it's hard to get, and work that soap and the water, the all-surface cleaner in there into the mat to get it as clean as possible, and then just kind of rinse it off and let it dry out in the sun. It wasn't a bad day. I think it was in the low to mid 40s that day. So sun was kind of on my side and it wasn't below freezing, so that's always nice during winter, so you can kind of work outside in the direct sun where you got the natural beauty of the sun and you can really see real well. If you got a shop with lights, there's always going to be kind of shadows and stuff, so if you can work outside without a pop-up canopy or something, that's always going to be optimal, so you can get as much dirt and debris and have the best visibility as possible and do the best job for the customer. So this is the part where most of you probably clicked on the video just to see what the damage was on this seat and what could be done to fix this biohazard P issue. So here I'm spraying my PNS Terminator enzyme spray to kind of break things down, and I'll let that sit for a little bit and then spray my carpet bomber. And I got the seat reclined back as far as I can so I can get deep within the seat crevices to get it as clean as I can and do the best job. And I do switch to this little small brush head, just because with it being P, I'm not going to use my regular one, and I'm certainly not going to be reusing it on a different car, so that'll be a throwaway item. And yeah, I just don't want to risk it and spreading germs and things around. It's just not sanitary to be using that again, so I'll be chucking that when I'm done, and that's kind of why I'm using that little small head. It's just a little cheap little thing that I have, so it's not a big deal if I use it and toss it. So once I get this going here, we'll be using a little extractor here, and this Bissell does really great work getting stains out. I fill it up with as hot a tap water as I can, and then I put in 2 or 3 ounces of carpet bomber, and here I'm just doing normal speed. You can see this yellow staining here is kind of prevalent along the whole thing. You know, I'm sure when the catheter bag exploded, it was just a nasty mess. So you can see it kind of soaked in, and we got our work definitely cut out in front of us. The further back you get, it seems like the worse the staining is for the P. So we're just going to go over it and over it and over it until it comes out clear and the seat looks clean. All in all, going through this seat, cleaning that and the carpet in front of it and around it, it took almost an hour, just going over, shampooing and extracting, getting that all clean. And of course, I did scoot the seat forward a little more so I could recline it just a hair more. I just wanted to do the best job I could, getting all that biohazard pee mess out of the seat, and without removing the seat. That wasn't part of the detail, and we were not disassembling the seat. So we're leaving the seat in the car and just doing as thorough a job as we can. And yeah, this little Bissell does great work, and just got to be patient, keep going over the areas on the seat and the floor until we get this thing cleaned up. So here I kind of sped things up for the sake of time. You guys don't want to see me shampooing and extracting for like 45 minutes. That'd be pretty boring. So we're just going to speed things up, and then we'll move on to the driver's seat where there was a little bit of staining. It wasn't a PX, and I know it looks kind of yellow on the driver's seat, but the passenger seat was where the PX didn't happen. So we'll get this thing cleaned up, and then we'll just move on until we're all done. So for the detailers that are watching this, or the weekend warriors that like to tackle detailing jobs, I'm wondering what kind of shampoo and extractor unit do you guys use? Do you have something like this Bissell Spot Pro Clean? Do you use a little green machine? Do you have something a little fancier like a Sandia extractor, or a Mighty, or something along those lines? Leave in the comments below what kind of extractor you use and what you'd like to use in the future if you've got some sort of upgrade in mind. I think the key to getting stains out, whether they're fresh or have been sitting there for a while, is using hot water in the extractor and then an effective chemical mixed in with it. I really like P&S's 3-step process: the Terminator, the Carpet Bomber, and the Peroxide Finisher. And I pre-treat the carpeted area or the seat with the P&S Terminator and the Carpet Bomber, and that helps kind of break down the stain, to be able to suck it up and get the stain, and if there's any smell associated with the staining, depending on what vehicle I'm working on, that really helps get everything cleaned up to the best of my ability. Alright, so moving on to the front passenger seat area. The P area wasn't too bad. It was mainly kind of under the seat, just out of view. Um, Next to the seat track where it kind of dribbled down the front of the seat. And the rest was, I think, inconsequential. I don't think there was a whole lot past that, but I do the whole area just to be thorough and make sure that there's nothing that kind of spilled or dropped or splattered out a little further than I thought. Um, so we'll just keep going over that area that I noticed there was a bunch of pee kind of puddled down, and then we'll get the rest of the carpets, and we'll be good to move on to the driver's seat, get that spot cleaned. That wasn't part of the detail, but I saw that yellow staining on there, and I was like, I gotta take care of that and get that cleaned up for her. It just wouldn't look right if I left it, so. Here's the nice juice that the extractor sucked up, going through the pee extraction and getting the seat all cleaned up. That was all from the seat and the carpet floor area, so it was pretty gross. We're just doing a quick spot spray treatment, drill brush, and then we're just going to shampoo and extract some of those areas that were had some stains on the side bolster and the lower seat area, just to get those cleaned up and looking how they should be. So we'll just spend a few minutes on that, and then we'll move on to the next area of the detail. Now it's finally time to start spraying and wiping down trim panels, door panels, the plastics, the steering wheel, and all that stuff. We're done with the vacuuming, shampoo, and extraction, so time for wiping everything down, making it nice and clean, getting the windows all sparkly shiny, and then the detail will be done once we get everything all wiped down. Ended up using the Turtle Wax all surface cleaner on a lot of the dirtier trim areas, and then I used some of the PNS interior express interior cleaner, diluted 1-to-1 for some of the areas that weren't as bad off. So we're just trying to cut through that grime, the dirt layer that's kind of on there, and just get this thing back to as new as possible, so that Turtle Wax all surface cleaner works pretty good. I use it on pretty much everything except for, or I can use it on everything except for, obviously I don't use it on Windows, I don't use it on the instrument cluster plastic, and I definitely don't use it on the, if there's a touchscreen navigation or a backup camera display, I don't use it on those, but pretty much everything else I use it on. Just kind of be careful around some of the stamped ink, like turn signal stock areas. You don't want to scrub too vigorously with a harsher cleaner. So I like to usually use PNS express cleaner on some of those more sensitive areas, because once that ink gets wiped off, you're going to be buying a new turn signal stock or radio buttons or whatever you messed up. So just use common sense, be mindful and careful of what you're doing, and just kind of pre-think about what you're doing and any potential consequences before you take action. So just something to think about when you're detailing or detailing somebody else's car. enjoy getting into the nitty gritty of each vehicle, getting it super clean, coming from a real dirty or stained condition, and just seeing the customers' reactions, seeing how happy they are with their car, getting back to how they wanted it to look, and just getting all those nooks and crannies that a lot of people aren't able to get because they don't have the tools, patience, or time. And I just enjoy getting the vehicle and watching the transformation as I'm working on the vehicle, getting that thing back to how it should look. I've always liked working on cars, and it's kind of nice to be able to work on other people's cars, have a pretty quick rate of return on seeing um, something that was not broken, but just in bad shape, and go from bad to good in less than a day. It's kind of nice to see that transformation happen. If there's ever any little plastic little tray things like that cup holder, little bottom thing, seat bottom that you can pull out, I always try to remove those because you're never going to get them as clean, or the surrounding area as clean, as if you don't pull those out and clean those. So I like to pull those out, clean them on the floor, and it just gets it so much cleaner, and you can get it top to bottom, inside out, all the little nooks and crannies and stuff. And then that, like this cup holder, for example, you can get in around the area where it sits in, and it just makes it look the quality of your detail much better. So we're just getting in here with the brush, kind of agitating the areas where I can't get in with my fingers, and just getting it as clean as we can. Uh, some of the little debris and stuff is kind of stuck in there, but we're going to try and get as much as we can out. So the bad to good transformation is maximized. We got a little cleaning fluid splatter from the Bissell and a little bit of pee dribble on the side bolster of the seat. Not bolster, but the plastic trim pieces. So we're going to get that all scrubbed clean. And with these microfiber cloths, since there was a kind of a biohazard kind of pee thing, I'm using my less expensive, cheaper cloths, and I'm just going to be chucking those, all of them. I don't want to mix it in with another customer's car, and I'm sure for the next customer that's getting their car cleaned, they would appreciate not having little pee remnants and things on there. And I don't really want to mix, even trying to bother cleaning those microfiber cloths and mixing them in with the rest of my towels when it's time to do laundry. It, it's just not worth it. I got cheap enough towels where we're gonna chuck them. So here's this little cup holder trim piece, and with it out of the car, we're really able to get into all these little nooks and crannies, get the top and the bottom, all the sides, and this thing's going to be looking brand new when we put it in. So we're just finishing up here with interior glass cleaning, and we'll get these all wiped down, and then we'll just do kind of a final walkthrough on the vehicle, and we'll get to see what it looks like afterward. Unfortunately, wasn't able to do the exterior, which desperately need it. There was kind of like a moss algae on the trunk, roof, and the hood, which, if left unattended, can really kind of damage the paint. So hopefully one day I'll be able to get her in and get a full detail with maybe a little bit of a light paint correction done as well. Because I think it would take kind of a heavier to medium clay bar to get some of that gunk on that roof off, just because it's been sitting there for years. So we'll see. Anyway, we'll get all these windows wiped down, and then we'll do a final walkthrough here. Okay guys, here's the final walkthrough. We got everything pretty much wiped down. The trunk is looking much better. There's no more mouse nests, no more pine needles and crud in the back, so this is looking real good. And we'll go on to the next area here in just a little bit. Just getting a few close-up areas shot so you can kind of see what's going on. And here's the door panel. Got that thing cleaned up pretty good. Back little seat area. Door jambs are looking nice and shiny. We got the seats vacuumed and cleaned. Carpets are looking real good. No more junk in there. I haven't put the floor mats back in, but you can see night and day difference. Got that thing all wiped out too. Looks like an extra small little cup holders. Here going to the front. I know you guys knew what it looked like before. The driver's seat and the floor area were just absolutely filthy. I haven't wiped the pedals at this point, which I will be doing, and the little kick plate, so just ignore that for now. But we got the seat all cleaned up, the interior cleaned up, and I think she's going to be real happy with the results overall. Here in a little bit, we'll show you what the passenger seat looks like after we've shampooed and extracted, and we got the blowers on right now, trying to get the seats all cleaned up. Rear mirrors looking nice and clean, no smudges or anything. And I opened up that door just to let some more light in so you can see a little better. You can see the outside windows are dirty and just the outside's dirty, but the cleaning on the inside, which is what they wanted and were paying for, that part's done, and it is looking much better. So let me know in the comments below what you'd rate this detail dirtiness overall, a 1 to 10, 10 being the worst. I think I'd give this maybe like a 7, just because the biohazard situation wasn't horribly stained, but it was definitely quite dirty. You can see passenger seat turned out real good. There's no more staining present. It is looking real good, so I think she'll be quite happy with the results. Oh, I know she was. She ended up giving me a hug, and she was just so overjoyed to have her clean car back. So that's just one of the things that I really enjoyed, seeing her reaction and how happy she was to get her clean car back again. Thanks for watching, guys.